Hi everybody, this is Usha Pandit, your Mind Springs English teacher. If you are on my channel for the first time, make sure you subscribe, press that bell notification, give me a comment, give me a like and encourage me to make more such videos. Today I am going to do present and past participle. I am going to show you all the uses that are there for present and past participles because I often get people asking me, is it a verb, is it an adjective, how is it a participle when it is got an auxiliary. They ask me many questions, so there is a lot of confusion. So I thought I will clear it once and for all. So let us look at the uses of the present and past participle. So the present participle, I think you guys call it V4 if I am not mistaken. All these are just ways to remember, okay, but it is called the present participle. And how do you know it? The form is the ing form. So if you have a verb, the ing form of that verb is the present participle. Loving, jumping, singing, dancing, sleeping, all of these are present participles. Why present participle? Because of the ing. And because it has got an ing, it will make a verb tense with the auxiliary, always with the auxiliary, not by itself, but with this auxiliary. See, is the auxiliary. So, is loving, is sleeping, has been going, were coming, all of these. If you have an auxiliary in front of that ing word, it will make a verb tense. And what tense is it making? It is making the present continuous tense. That was, were and all those changes that you make is in agreement with the subject. The boy was sleeping, the children were sleeping. So, that was, were, etc. are sleeping are, but was and were, I am sorry, is makes a past continuous tense. So, it will make a present continuous tense, but it will also make a past continuous tense. It will probably make the future continuous tense also, will be sleeping. So, this present participle will make, I think, all the continuous tenses. Let me take this out from here so that, right, it will make the continuous tenses, that is what it will do. All the continuous tenses, is, are, will be, has been, all of these are continuous tenses. If there is an ing word, it is a continuous tense if it has an auxiliary. Just remember this. You will not get confused if you remember that much about the present participle. Now what happens is, it does not always come with this auxiliary. Sometimes it comes alone. You will just get words like chirping, singing, dancing, loving, having, whatever. You will just get an ing word with no auxiliary. That is the time you need to be very careful and watch that word carefully when it comes alone, because then we call it a participle. And that participle, when it does not make the continuous tense, has got many uses. Normally, it is an adjective. Most of the time, it is an adjective. Loving aunt, telling you more about the aunt. It is coming before the noun and therefore it is what we call an attributive adjective. Attributives always come before the noun, very easy to catch. Chirping birds, grunting pigs, screaming children, very easy, because immediately after that ing word there will be a noun sitting there. So that is an attributive adjective. But sometimes this comes afterwards. Now this is where sometimes you have a problem, because if I say the aunt is very caring, then here now this ing word has come after the verb. Sometimes you might just have it immediately after the verb, like if you say the book is interesting. Now there is interesting, is this not an auxiliary, and interesting is not the main verb. Is this the verb and interesting is the adjective. How do you know that? Because interesting is describing the book. Interesting is not giving you a past present continuous tense. So we must use a little bit of common sense when we are in doubt, because we should realize it's not the verb, it is an adjective because it's telling us more about the book. Here caring is telling us more about the aunt, and you will have adverbs like this: extremely interesting, tremendously interesting. You can have big adjectives sitting there, adverbs sitting there, but the ing word is what we call a present participle, okay, and it's an adjective function coming after the verb. Predicative is what it's called. Predicative means it's coming in the predicate. You remember your subject and predicate? Aunt is the subject and the verb and everything after it is the predicate. That's why we call it the predicative. See, I am explaining these things to you so that when people talk grammar, you don't get confused. But just because I am saying it, you won't get it. You will need to practice with a lot of sentences. You will have to consider a lot of sentences, do some grammar work, and one of the best books, Language with Ease. It goes from grade 1 all the way up to grade 7, and depending upon where you are in your grammar, you can choose the grade. The answer keys are on Kindle, so if you make a mistake, the answer key and the explanations will tell you where you are going wrong. So, it is very convenient and very useful. Every day you do one sentence. So, it is an exercise book. It is not like Grammar with Ease, which is a basic reference book. So, there you go. So, this much you have understood now. It will make a verb tense with an auxiliary. If there is no auxiliary, it is going to be an adjective, either attributive or predicative. Okay. Then what happens is they come in phrases. See, you will get it at the beginning of sentences. Taking a wrong turn, he got lost. Now, the complication here comes because every ing word is not a participle. Sometimes it is a gerund. That is the problem. Otherwise, we would have no problems. It would have been easy peasy. But unfortunately, if it is an ing word, that present participle can either be an adjective, what we call participle in simple terms, or it can be a gerund. So, now when I have taken a wrong turn, he got lost. I don't know whether it is a gerund or a participle. Very easy way to find it. I have done this in many videos. You must pay attention to it. When you start the sentence with an ing word, you move your finger and you will hit this he. See, you will hit a pronoun or a noun. If you hit a pronoun or a noun, this part of the sentence is describing that noun. Okay? Taking a wrong turn, he got lost. What do we mean by that? If we expand it, we will get he who took a wrong turn, or he who was taking a wrong turn. You can put who was, it will be very easy. He who was taking a wrong turn got lost. It makes perfect sense. If it is a gerund, what do we substitute it with? This also I have told you, you substitute it with it or this or something. Now, if I say something he got lost, it he got lost, this he got lost, can I say that? I cannot. The minute you cannot substitute it with it or this or someone or something, trust me, it is not a gerund. So, it is very simple. Do not forget this wonderful tip. You will never make a mistake in gerunds and participles. You just substitute it with either it or someone or something or this for a gerund, and for a participle you just add who was in front of that and try to make the sentence, and it will be correct. It will be sort of correct. I am not saying it will be 100%. It might be he who took the wrong turn. I am saying you should say he who was taking the wrong turn, but it is okay, do not worry about it. It will definitely be more of something like this than it and someone. So, you know it is a participle. Now, these are called participles. Okay. Now, when you hear this word participle, I do not want you to say, Miss, but present participle you said it is a verb. I am calling it a participle for convenience because I am trying to differentiate it between an adjectival participle and a gerund. That is what I am trying to make the difference, not between this and the verb tense. Okay, I want this very clear because people ask me this all the time. Then you have what is called the perfect participle. In the perfect participle, what happens is the ing is sitting in these verbs like having, being, and then you have the past participle. That is how you know your perfect participle. This, what do you mean by perfect participle? Like we have the perfect tense, we have a perfect participle, that's all. Like we have the perfect tense, we have a perfect gerund. So they are forms of the participles and gerunds. So when you see being scared, there is no need for you to get frightened. You don't have to go like this, being the children and say the children, even if you do that, you will get it right. See, the children who being scared, if you do something like that, even though it's not 100%, it will make sense. But you can't say the children it, the children something, you can't do this. Then you won't be able to complete the sentence. So don't worry about it. Whenever you get this, just do this substitution and you will get it right. Similarly, having eaten the cake, he slept. He who had eaten the cake slept. That's what you mean. And here it's an active sentence. Who is eating the cake? He. He who had eaten the cake slept, active sentence, and it is an adjectival. Having been taught French, he spoke it. Now, having been taught French is passive. Having been taught French by somebody, by a French teacher, by a Frenchman, by watching French movies maybe. But if somebody has taught French, he has not taught himself French. So, having been taught French is passive. So, you can also put these perfects into passive voice. These are some of the complications. I am just showing it to you in simple ways so that you can understand all the uses and you are not confused, right. Again, being tired, he slept. Now, here you can say he who was being tired, he who was tired slept. But when we expand it, what we realize is it's not about being tired is could be describing him, he was tired, or it could be giving us a reason. Because he was tired, he slept. He slept because he was tired. You can also use a reason in that, and so it can be adverbial. Very often when you are asked whether is it an adjectival or adverbial, it is a little confusing because nobody can see the original sentence. It can be adverbial or it can be adjectival. As long as you can expand it to make an adverb conjunction. So, here I would put because and call it adverbial. But if you said he who was tired and say that being tired is describing him, nothing wrong with it. It's perfectly okay. Okay. So, this is one thing I want to clear out from your minds again. Compound adjectives, you can make compound adjectives with your past participle actually. This is fruit laden, much loved, etc. are not present but past participle. It should have come on the other side. Never mind. So, you have got the past present participle as adjective here. Let us look at the present participle as a gerund. This has been done to death, but I am still bifurcating it into present participle, gerund, present participle adjective so that you do not make any mistake and you do not have any confusion. The present participle gerund is also an ing form. See, ing form. Same form. It can be substituted like I told you with it, this, something, someone, something like that. Okay. Here is an example. Taking a wrong turn, I have used the same one, taking a wrong turn. Now, there when we did taking a wrong turn, we hit he. Here when we do taking a wrong turn, we are hitting is a verb. So, in a gerund, if you move your finger, you will hit a verb. A gerund will be the subject of a verb, or immediately after a verb, if you have an ing word and you ask the verb what and you get an ing word as the answer, it is a gerund. Okay? So, remember this. So, therefore, that is very clear. The gerund and participle, you should not have any confusion. Both are made of present participles. But when we say participle, we actually mean the adjective, we do not mean the gerund. The gerund is very clear. Gerund is a noun and that's it. So, gerund is a noun and this guy is an adjective. So, that is your what happens with your gerunds and participles. Now, you have a perfect gerund. Being married is a responsibility. See again, it is hitting the verb. If I said being married, he decided not to go to the party, then it is he who was married, it will become a participle. So, the participle and gerund are not sitting in this word being, it is sitting in the job that it is doing. Here it is the subject of a verb and there it is describing or it is modifying the noun. That is the difference, adjective and noun, that is it. Now, let us look at the past participle. We have understood this. We have got another thing called the past participle, which we have not done before. The past participle ends in an en like in broken, or it can end in ed as in moved, or it can end in t like dreamt, slept. Okay? These are all past participles and I think you guys call it V3, right? That is what you call it, V3. So, there you are, those are your past participles. What are its uses? It also makes tenses like this one, but it makes the perfect tenses. Perfect tenses are made with have or had. I have gone, I have done, he had taken, he had finished, that sort of thing. So, it is have and had or past participle. So, it makes all the perfect tenses, this one, past participle. Makes passive voice. If I say it was taken by the thief, was taken. Now, remember it is not has taken, it is was taken. What is the passive voice made of? It is made of the verb to be plus the past participle plus by. That is passive voice. You cannot make a passive voice without the verb to be. Just keep this in your mind like cement. You cannot make a passive voice without the verb to be. You must have the verb to be. If you take the verb to be out of it, it will become active. It is that strong, verb to be. So, here was broken, therefore, the minute you see was broken, your mind should immediately light up and say passive voice, and you try and put a by after it. So, the vase was broken by Mahesh. It will make perfect sense. However, you also can make adjectives out of past participle. So, I can say the broken vase, attributive, it is coming before the noun, or I can say the vase was broken, it is coming after the vase and after the verb and therefore predicative, just as we had it here. So, I have done a video on past and present participle and past participle adjectives together in one sentence. Take a look at that also. So, you can have broken vase or the vase was broken. Now, the confusion comes because this is also was broken and this is also was broken. So, people start fighting. Some say it is an adjective and some say it is a passive voice. So, which is correct? Both are correct. Because it is the same meaning, isn't it? Whether I say the vase was broken, it means it is an adjective, it was broken, we are talking about the broken vase, it is in the predicative. Or if I say the vase was broken by Mahesh, it is the same meaning, vase is broken, it does not change, nothing changes. So, do not fight about this, this can be both a past participle adjective as well as the past tense. So, this is one of those very fine complications of grammar where the verb and the adjective both come in the same form, but the meaning does not change. If the meaning changed, I would worry. In other cases, what happens? The verb and adjective cannot be put together because the adjective describes and the verb is showing you action. Whereas here, although it is kind of showing you action, it is also telling you that it was broken. So, it has got an adjectival function as well. So, this is the only complication you need to talk about. And then of course, you have the past participle exactly like we had here, taking the wrong turn. We can have bruised and broken, he fell. Bruised and broken, he who was bruised and broken, see, adjectival, fell. You can't say bruised and broken was, bruised and broken, you can't put a verb there, it will be very difficult. If you can put a verb there, tell me how you will put a verb for bruised and broken, but I don't think you can. So, it will probably only be in an adjectival function, it will never become a gerund. It will never become a gerund. Gerund has to have an ing. So, broken and bruised, if you find this, it will always be a past participle phrase, adjectival phrase. Grammar is fun actually, you need to catch it, and there is a sense of great satisfaction when you get it. But you won't get it by looking at the video once, you will have to look at the video. Maybe I will give you some exercises to do in my description box with the answers. So, do it, check out if you are right and practice this stuff a lot of times. And don't forget, a lot of sentences sitting there for you in Language with Ease. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. Till we meet again, keep smiling.